Welcome back to the mini kiln. This guy's been in operation now for 4, it might be 5 weeks. We're getting close to it. For the last 3, maybe 4 days, I've had the dehumidifier running on continuous. That beeping you hear in the background is the dehumidifier. For whatever reason, on continuous it sits there and beeps. Sounds like there's a bomb ticking away, ready to go off. But regardless of the noise, it has been working really well. The temperature has been steady at 35 to 38 degrees Celsius. So that's good, and the humidity is down around the 10 to 12%. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and I've got a moisture meter, and I'm going to stick that into a few of the boards and see what the moisture content is. It's not an expensive moisture meter, so I'm sort of suspecting that it may not read anything because it doesn't read real fine. Percentages, I have tested it out on greener material. In fact, the rest of the material from this load that didn't fit in here, it's reading around the 15% range. So if I can get this inside the kiln down to 8% or less, we're in really good shape, and then we'll move on to the next phase. So I'll go ahead and get this thing opened up, and I'll show you how we test this lumber. So after 4 days of continuous running, this is all we got for water. Don't think there's a whole lot of moisture left to pull out of this wood. Alright, so here's the moisture meter. It's a little one. This one came from Lee Valley. It was only at 32 bucks. So like I said, it's not going to give me super fine readings, and I'm willing to accept it's going to be perhaps roughly a 1% margin of error. So if we turn this on, there, and we are reading 0. Well, that's good. This was the wettest, near wettest material. Let's try another one. Turn this back on. And again a 0. Okay. So we do this in the face of the lumber because if we stick it in the end, this is going to be the driest part. This is going to release moisture the quickest, so it will always be the driest. So you never test on the end. You always test on the face, and you test across the grain so that you don't end up following the same cell. If there's one cell that's drier than the rest in the lumber, test it out in a few different places. So let's test out a couple more pieces of wood here. Since the last time I opened this, I see we've got a pretty good crack here. Not great, but that tells me that things are drying pretty good. It's nice and warm in here, that's for sure. Let's do another test here. And we are reading 0 yet again. Okay. I do have a couple pieces of hardwood in here. It'll be a little harder to reach it. There we go. That's reading 7, 8, 9%. No, 6 to 7% near the edge. We're going to try in the middle. And that is up around 13%. So this piece is not ready, but everything else is. So what we'll do is we will pull these 2 pieces out. As you can see, it's getting dark. So our next steps are we'll open this back up in the morning and apply some heat. The reason we need to apply some heat is if there is any active bugs in the wood, we need to kill those. We don't want to create something and then have bugs start crawling out of it and make a mess. So what we need to do is get the temperature up to somewhere between 130 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's somewhere 55 to 60 Celsius, I believe. So I've got an electric space heater I'm going to put in there, and I'm hoping between that and the dehumidifier I will get that up and around that range, or at least very close to it. So if I get up to around 130 degrees, I'll need to run it for about 12 hours to kill off anything that's active in there. So I do have 2 pieces of wood that I will take out of there that aren't quite dry. That'll go in the next batch. And then I've got about 5 or 6 pieces of pine that were dry, air dried, but there is an active bug in them. So seen some sawdust that I didn't create. So that will happen tomorrow, and perhaps by tomorrow night or first thing the next morning, this will be done. I really don't have any idea how long it's going to take me to get up to the temperature that I need, and if I'm going to get it up to the temperature I'm looking for. So stay tuned.